Friends, welcome to our today's session. Today we are going to learn a different topic. This is about types of company. In our earlier session, I had given you some introduction about what is company, what is the nature of company, what is the characteristics of the company. These concepts we had covered, and this is again conceptual thing. Let us see what are the various types of companies are there. But as usual, what we do normally we will be always referring to our bare act. We'll be learning all these things from the act itself. So let me first for you open the Bare Act. You know, Bare Act is readily available with you in the website mca.gov.in. So let us visit to our MCA website. Let us see the act itself. Then we'll be learning various types of companies. First, let me open the site for you. By this time, you must have remembered the site is www.mca.gov.in. Okay. So why you are going to that site? Because we would like to know what is the definition of the company and various types of companies are there. Let us say what is private company, what is public company. So we'll see how it has been defined there. Okay, if you see their home page, you can find a link here, acts and rules. Now we are interested in Companies Act now, right? You see the Companies Act is here. You can click it here. Companies Act. Okay, in fact, this is our book which we are referring, and you already know. So we are in the preliminary chapter. If I go to the preliminary chapter, two sections are there. Section 1, Section 2 also some parts we have covered. This Section 2 talks about various definitions. Right? Small server error because of traffic congestion it seems. So 1 second, let me try. Again, it's showing error status. Let me try again. Oh my God. Okay, today it is showing some internal error. Mostly it happens due to congestion. Let us see whether. Oh, no section is opening. I am trying through another link. Here is Act, Companies Act 2013. Let us see. Okay, it is showing some error. Don't worry. So we'll check it later. So I'm going to share my PPT files now. Well, the topic is types of companies. Okay. So, friends, you see, are you seeing a list of companies?
Yes, sir.
Tell me how many kinds of companies are there?
14, sir.
14. 14. You see, why it is 14, 14 types of companies I have listed here. If you scan through the entire Companies Act, you can find out only these 14 types of companies are there. I have scanned through the entire Act, and I found that only there are 14 types of companies which are discussed in the Companies Act 2013. Okay. like companies limited by shares, companies limited by guarantee, small company, one-person company, government company, private company, public company, foreign company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, unlimited company, banking company, and listed company. And of course, there is a term which is called as company. Company itself has been defined, and these are the various types of company. So if you stick to Companies Act 2013, you can say there are only 14 types of companies. Is it? If you technically talk, or in legal sense, if you are talking, because Company Act is not talking about any other kind of company. But you must have heard many other kinds of company beyond this. Is it not? Have you heard of something like multinational company? Have you heard it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But you see, Companies Act doesn't talk about anything multinational company. So if you ask me what is that, I can give you some general meaning, but not that has not been defined in Companies Act. You must have heard something called as a blue chip company. Have you heard it or not?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of domestic company?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of foreign company?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You see, so many kinds of companies types of companies we use. We use these terms in our day-to-day life. But coming to Companies Act 2013, you can find only these 14 types of companies. I also request all of you, you also try throughout the app, you search. Okay, very simple commands are there. Control F. You can find out if any other company or name you are finding. You'll find that only these 14 types of companies are there. Okay, but if you refer various textbooks, okay, various textbooks, various authors, or various sites have identified various other kinds of companies. But these are the companies which textbook defines, but Companies Act doesn't talk about this kind of company. Okay, are you getting the point? So if someone is asking how many types of companies are there, practically, really, I cannot say, because Companies Act talks about only 14 kind of companies. But many authors have talks about like this, that we can classify companies or we can group companies into various categories. First of all, on the basis of incorporation, that is how companies are incorporated. On that basis, we can call some companies just chartered companies, some companies are statutory companies, some companies are registered companies. Okay, how many types? 3 types: chartered, statutory, and registered company. I will be explaining you what is the meaning of that. I can also group some companies. Yeah, you want to ask something?
Sir, the third one is chartered, one is statutory, and the third one is, sir,
Registered.
could you repeat?
Registered company. You are seeing the slide, no? Third one is registered company. Registered company. Company which is registered. Okay. Friends, all of others are listening. I think there is some network issue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you are listening.
Listening, sir.
Right. Now, friends, on the basis of nature of their business, we can classify companies like this: banking company, insurance company, like this. This is one kind of classification. Is it not? Banking company, insurance company, electricity company. You must have heard this thing. Foreign company, Indian company, or domestic company. This is one more category of classification. Yes or no? Then you must have heard something called the non-profit company or Section 8 company, company which is registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Non-profit company. This is one more category of classification of companies on the basis of nature. Okay, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, you see one more kind of classification. I say one on the basis of liability. What is liability? What is, friends? Again, I request, friends. Again, I request all of you. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Mr. Rupees ji. Mr. Rupees, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself and make yourself familiar with mute and unmute button. Okay. Now, thank you. Now, friends, on the basis of liability, we can also classify companies like this. Some of the companies we can call them as unlimited company. Some companies are limited company. And once we are calling a company as limited company, again, we can sub-classify them as limited by guarantee or limited by shares. Okay, we'll be learning all these things. And once they're limited by shares, again, I can sub-classify them into two categories. Can you tell me what are these two categories? You can unmute and speak.
Sir,
Private and
Private and
public.
public.
Yeah, so private company or public company, this will be learned.
Yes.
Okay, private companies are basically some companies which there are some restriction as regards to transfer of shares, restriction as to number of members, and restriction as to offering securities to public. We'll be learning all these things, but this is one category of classification of company. Okay, we can also classify companies on the basis of controls exercised, like government company. So these are the companies which are controlled by who must be controlling this company. When you talk
Government,
about
sir.
government, holding company. Holding company means there is a parent company which holds the shares in another company. So holding company. Then there is a consider of subsidiary company. Subsidiary company, you can think it just like a child company. Holding company is the parent company. Subsidiary company is the child company. Okay. Holding company controls the subsidiary company. Right? Similarly, associate company. Okay, one company may be referred to as associate company if it is influenced by some other company. That is called as associate company.
The holding company and subsidiary company are different.
Yeah, holding company and subsidiary company are different. They are two different companies. I'll be explaining you that thing. Holding company means parent company. Subsidiary company means child company. Okay. Right. So roughly you can have think something like this. Suppose you are forming a company. Right, you are already having a company. You may form a new company, and the most of the shares of the new companies are held by your old company. Let us say company A is holding 80% shares of company B. Okay, so B is the subsidiary company, A is the holding company because A controls B. Are you getting it?
Yes,
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, please ask your doubt.
Sir, then what is an affiliated company?
Affiliated company has not been defined throughout the act. It has not been defined. Okay, so depending upon the circumstances, you have to understand the meaning of affiliated company. Okay, so you can call it something like associated company. Associated company like this. There are so many types of terms, so many types of companies are there. Technically, they has not been defined. Okay. So depending upon the situation, depending upon the facts and circumstances, you have to interpret that. Okay.
So for an example.
Example, what is coming to your mind? What is coming to your mind in relation to affiliated company? Why you asked me this thing? You must
Sir, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because the director is having a role in some other company. Can it be a affiliated company?
Maybe that is called something like associate company kind of thing. Okay. There is no definition as such of affiliated company. As such,
Slide is not used.
Yes, slide are not showing right now. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not showing the slide right now. We are discussing. Right, friends. So these are the only companies, as I told you, in the 14 types of companies are there. Affiliated company has not been described throughout the. Okay, but normally what happens? In case of group companies, they call one company as affiliated of another company. It's a normal understanding, but nowhere it has been defined. Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
question of affiliated company will come only when we're talking about some group company or something related company, or it may be an associate company. Okay, on the basis of
Like any other CBSE school that is affiliated to DPS or
that is affiliated to some other authority, right? let us say some educational institution, or it might be educational company. It might have been affiliated by something, must have got some affiliation for something. That is different thing. Okay, that is different thing. Now, friends, there might be one kind of company which is called as OPC, or one person company. As the name suggests, there will be only one member. And there is a concept of small company. There is also a concept of listed company. But apart from all these things, what I showed you here, there are many more other types of companies are here, just like our friend is saying affiliated company. What is that? Okay. But strictly coming to legal meaning, there are only 14 types of companies. Like this. Okay, friends. Now, let us understand meaning of these terms one by one. First, coming to the term chartered company. Okay, these are a kind of historical company, you can say. These are incorporated, or you can say founded by royal charter. That means king or queen of the country gives a special charter to a company. The example is that East India Company. These companies do not have any liability for the debts contracted by the company. But these companies you don't find these days. It has got some historical importance. Okay, you see Companies Act, there is no such concept like charter company. But sometimes we use this term, right? These are the companies which is founded by royal charter. Then there is the group of companies which are called as statutory company. Statutory means it is formed by statute. Statute means some special law, special act. If that is so, those companies are referred to as statutory companies. For example, State Bank of India, Life Insurance Corporation of India, like Odisha State Finance Corporation, Odisha Forest Development Corporation, like this. So there are special acts are there, and through this act, these companies are formed. They behave just like a company. They comply with the provisions of Companies Act, but there are separate laws for this. Okay, there is a State Bank of India Act. There is a Life Insurance Corporation of India Act, like this. There are separate laws. These kind of companies we refer to them as statutory companies. Usually, these are the companies who carry on the work of public importance. And normally, they do not use the word limited. Normally. Okay. There are provisions in the Companies Act that authorities may allow you to use a name without the word limited. That's possible. Right? So this is the meaning of statutory company. Okay. Third category of companies, so we call it as the registered company. There is nothing such registered company which is defined, but the Companies Act, Section 2 plus 20 defines the company. And there the definition is like this. Company means a company registered under Companies Act 2013 or under previous Companies Act. So if a company is registered under Companies Act 2013 or any other earlier law, so that will be referred to as registered company. And how they are registered? These are the companies which have a document called as MOA, or Memorandum of Association, and another document called as AOA, which talks about Articles of Association. We'll be learning what is MOA and AOA in appropriate time. Okay, right now just have some idea. MOA talks about something, what the company can do, what the company cannot do. All these things are discussed in Memorandum of Association. And Articles of Association talks about internal things, that how meetings can be held, and the internal management of the company that are discussed in Articles of Association. Okay, with the help of these two companies, with the help of these two documents, companies are registered. And once I'm saying it is a registered company, again, it can be limited by shares, or limited by guarantee, or unlimited company. There are three possibilities. It can be limited by shares, or limited by guarantee, or unlimited company. We'll be understanding each one of them. If a company is limited by shares, it can be public limited or private. Right? So you must have heard some company's name. They use the word just limited. That means at some companies they use the word private limited. That means if it is just limited, it's a public limited company, and if it is what private limited is there, then it's a private limited company. This is the meaning of limited company. Hope up to this is clear.
Yes, sir.
As I told you, it might be registered under Companies Act 2013 or previous Companies Act. Here I am showing you one incorporation certificate. You see, this company is registered under Companies Act 2013. Are you seeing it? This is a certificate of incorporation. This company is registered under which act? Companies Act 2013. So this is a registered company. Yes or no? Okay. Here I am showing you one more incorporation certificate. You see, this is registered under Companies Act 1956. Okay. Somewhere it will be written, it is not clear. Here you see, Companies Act 1956. So both of them are registered companies. Are you getting it? Registered means it is incorporated. It is registered under Companies Act. This is old law, this is new law. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, next category of company is banking company. Banking company is again defined, law defines. Section 2, clause 9 talks about banking company. What it talks, banking company means a banking company as defined in clause C of section 5 of Banking Regulation Act 1949. So actually to understand what is banking company, we need to refer to Banking Regulation Act 1949. Companies Act doesn't give any detailed description. It has defined that it means the same thing which has been defined in Banking Regulation Act. Okay, and if you refer to Banking Regulation Act, it means a company which transacts the business of banking in India. That is a banking company. Okay, and there is an explanation to this provision also. Suppose in the process of manufacturing, in the process of trading, there might be some companies which are accepting deposits and giving advances. That should not be considered as banking business. Suppose one trading company is there, but he is accepting deposits from its suppliers or letters from its customers and giving advances also. So he is also depositing, accepting deposits and giving advances. That will not be considered as banking business. Okay. So banking company means you have to refer to the Banking Regulation Act. For us, only this much of knowledge is enough at this point of time. Okay, we need not go deep into that. Similarly, what is banking company? As defined under IRD Act, that is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authorities Act. This is the normal meaning. It has not been defined in Companies Act. Banking company has been defined in the Companies Act section 2(9). But what is insurance company? It has not been defined. We have to refer to IRD Act to understand that. Similarly, what is electricity company? That has also not been defined. The companies engaged in generation or supply of electricity as defined in Electricity Act. Okay, this is the meaning of electricity company. Foreign company. The foreign company has been defined in Companies Law. Where it is defined, the slides I have given the section reference. Section 242 talks about foreign company. You see, means a company or body corporate incorporated outside India. Okay, that means it must be a company or a body corporate which is incorporated outside India, which has a place of business in India, whether by itself or through an agent, physically or through electronic mode. The place of business may be operated physically or through electronic mode, and conducts any business activity in India in any other manner. If these two conditions are met, then that company can be called as foreign company. It should have a place of business in India, and it should be conducting some business activities in India. That is the meaning of foreign company. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, If you are calling some company as foreign company, you have to check whether these conditions are met or not. And here this you see, this definition says a company or body corporate. So we need to understand what is the meaning of body corporate. The meaning of body corporate has also been defined under section 211. Normally, when you talk about the body corporate, it means any corporate entity which has got a legal existence. Okay, so if we talk loosely, body corporate includes private company, public company, one-person company, small company, limited liability partnership, foreign company. Everything is a body corporate because they have got some legal existence. But if we go through the definition, which is provided in section 2, clause 11 of the Companies Act, it says body corporate or corporation includes a company incorporated outside India but does not include, that means foreign companies are a body corporate, but does not include a cooperative society. A cooperative society is not a body corporate or any other body corporate, not being a company as defined in this act, which the central government may by notification specify on this behalf. That means cooperative societies are not body corporates, and any other body corporate which the central government notifies, that is also not a body corporate. Okay, so these two things needs to be excluded from the meaning of body corporate. Okay, when you classify a company as a foreign company or not, body corporates are included in company. Then what is the meaning of Indian company? Not defined in the act. Foreign company has been defined. Indian company means company incorporated in India. Okay, it means a company which is incorporated in India, that is Indian company. Now, this is a kind of company which is very popular, non-profit making company. You might have heard some companies which are called as non-profit making company, and these are also referred to as Section 8 company because they are incorporated under Section 8 of the Companies Act. These companies do not make any profit. Then why these companies are formed when they don't want to make any profit? They are formed for promotion of arts, science, religion, charity, or other useful objectives. So their objects are different. For promotion of these things, these companies are formed. They intend to apply its profit and other income in promoting its objects. That means whatever profit will be earned, that will be applied for the objects. That will not be distributed to the shareholders. Are you getting? It prohibits payment of dividend to its members. What is dividend? Dividend is the distribution of profit among shareholders. So that's prohibited. So a Section 8 company doesn't distribute its profit. Okay, are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Central government may direct that the association may be registered as a company with limited liability without addition of the word limited or private limited. This is the kind of company central government may, on application, direct that you may not use the word limited or private limited. Okay. And a company registered under Section 8 shall not be required to have minimum paid up capital. Okay, these companies need not have something called as the minimum paid up capital. There was a restriction earlier that for properly limited company, this should be the minimum paid up capital. For private limited company, this should be a minimum paid up capital. But now, for the time being, through a notification, that restriction has been removed. Okay, now, but anyway, minimum paid up capital is not required to form a company under Section 8. Section 8 company, you have understood? So these are basically for promotion of arts, science, religion, charity, and other useful subjects, and they're not for profit. They may earn some profit, but that profit is not for distribution. The same profit will be applied for the object of the company. Here is an example of a Section 8 company. If you see the incorporation certificate, you see Section 8 of Companies Act 2013. This is a company, right? Now you can see the name, Swavalambi Foundation. What limited is there?
No, sir.
Limited is not there. Okay, you see, Swabhalambi Foundation. It appears as if it is a foundation or trust, but it's a company. You see, registered under Companies Act 2013. Are you getting it? So this is
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please ask your
Sir,
question.
instead of you being in the smaller window and the presentation in being the larger window, you were in the yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is. Now it would be able to see properly.
Now, what you want? Presentation is normally in the larger window, no?
No, actually, it was the inverse. Few moments ago.
That is, you see, purposefully I am doing that. When I am showing you something, so definitely now it is okay. Now you are seeing the certificate.
So
Right.
certificate is in the smaller window.
Certificate is in the smaller window.
Yes, sir.
Is it so? Is it always like this?
Has been
No. Is it
for
for
some
all
time.
or is it for you only?
No, sir. Certificate is in the this main screen.
Next screen.
Sir, is
So
a clear visible, sir.
yeah, it's clear
Okay.
visible. You see,
Some
in
error
your
with mine.
case, you click on that certificate, click on that picture.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
so then it will happen. But normally this is. But when I'll be discussing, then certificate I will be hiding. I will be discussing like this. Is it clear what is Section 8 company? Is it
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay, Section 8 company. You see. So these are basically for charitable purpose. Now here you see, this is one more kind of company. Can you read what kind of company is it?
Unlimited company.
Unlimited company, and it is defined in Section 2, Clause 92. It talks about means a company not having any limit on the liability of its members. Okay, normally the liability of the members of the company are limited, right? So we'll be understanding subsequently. We'll be learning how to incorporate a company. At that time, you'll understand that when companies are incorporated, every member subscribes some shares, right? Promoters subscribe or members subscribe some shares, and their liability is to pay that share money. Okay, to the extent they have subscribed, suppose they have subscribed 100 shares of tennis, then your liability is to pay 1,000 rupees. So members' liability, when you say members' liability is limited, that is, company cannot ask you beyond that. But that amount company can definitely ask. Are you getting? But when I say it is an unlimited company, that means members' liability is not limited. Members can be asked any amount if it is an unlimited company. Okay? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, is it feasible?
Yeah, it is feasible. It is feasible. It's possible to have a company.
Sir, how?
How means what? You have to incorporate a company as unlimited shares.
Okay. So unlimited shares.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. It is also possible to have a company without share capital. Okay, and it's also possible to incorporate a company as unlimited company.
Unlimited share means it can issue as much as share it can.
No. Unlimited means members' liability to the company is unlimited. When it is a limited company, members' liability is limited.
Okay.
Okay. Company liability, by the way, one fundamental thing at this stage I would like to discuss here. Just a minute. Try to understand. When I say the company's liability is always unlimited. It is when you say liability is limited in case of company, that means whose liability you are talking about? Shareholders' liabilities are limited. Okay, shareholders' liability for the company is limited, and that liability can be unlimited if it is an unlimited company. Is it clear?
So what are the liability of the shareholders?
What are the
liabilities of the shareholders?
Shareholders has got only one liability, to pay the money which they have subscribed. If they have subscribed some shares, they have to pay that money.
They have to pay the money to the
Yeah,
company.
if they have paid that money, then they don't have any liability. Right? Suppose you have acquired, you have purchased, you have subscribed the shares, 10 shares of rupees 100 each. That means your liability is 1,000 rupees. If you have not
1,000
paid,
rupees.
that's your liability. You have paid, then you don't have any liability.
So without paying the money, how could share will be issued?
Without,
So without paying the money, how the share will be issued to the shareholders?
without paying the money, how the shares will be issued?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we say that. We are not saying that without paying money, shares will be issued.
So obviously it is the shareholders' liability to pay
Yeah,
the.
friends, at the time when you will be learning the incorporation process, you'll be understanding how companies are incorporated. When companies are
Okay.
incorporated, it is not necessary that share money have been paid.
Okay.
Okay, at this stage, what happened? The subscribers to the memorandum or promoters, they have subscribed, they have committed that they will be paying, but later on they will pay. And also they may pay in phases, in a staggered manner. Let us say they have paid share application money. After that, they'll let us say 10 rupees share is there. Or they may pay 2 rupees as share application, another 2 rupees as share allotment, another 2 rupees as share first call, then share second call, share third call, like this. Okay, so there is a possibility that they may not have paid. Is it clear?
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hello.
Yeah, any query? Please ask.
Sir, suppose ଗୋଟେ company କିଛି loan ନେଇଥିଲା ସେ default କରିଦେଲା loss ହେଲା company ର ସେଥିରେ shareholder ର liability କଣ ରହିବ?
Okay, here friends, the question is that let us say one company has committed a default. Right? What is the liability of shareholder? Company has not paid the loan. Friends, we will be learning. In fact, that is our next concept. Next concept. Once these types of companies are over, next we will be learning that particular concept. Okay, that concept is that company is a separate entity. Company is different and shareholders are different. Shareholders are normally not liable for the defaults of the company. But again, I use the word normally. But there are exceptional situations where shareholders may be held liable. Okay, so this concept will be learning when I'll be explaining the concept of separate legal entity. Maybe next to next class, we'll be covering that thing. That is one more concept. Before venturing into detailed provisions of the law, we need to understand that concept. Then only this worry will go. I repeat. So if company commits a default, company has not paid any loan, then normally shareholders are liable or not?
So they are liable.
They are not liable. Normally they are not liable, but there might be situations when they will be liable. Normally they are not liable because normal provision is that company and shareholders are different.
Sir, how the company would recover the money, sir? What is the process?
Who is going to recover? Company is not going to recover. Company is to
Sir.
pay. Okay, how the company will be recovering, how the, let us say, borrower will be recovering the company, that's a different thing. Let us say an individual is not paying, how the bank will recover? Bank will take action. Okay.
But in case of the company and shareholders are not liable, then sir, how that no bank or whatever, how they would
Yeah,
get
that
the
is what
money
this
back?
doubt is coming to your mind because the concept of separate legal entities has not been taught to you. The purpose of forming a company is that it's a separate entity. Otherwise, you can have a partnership firm where members, partners' liability is same as firm's liability. Why you are forming a company? The moment you are forming a company, your objective is that company is different. Company is different. Let me give you an extreme example. Okay, right. So all of you know there was a company called as ABCL. Have you heard of it? ABCL. What is that?
Amitabh Bachchan Corporation Limited.
Yeah, Amitabh Bachchan Corporation Limited has taken some loan from some bank, I think Allahabad Bank, I think, and it has a defaulter. But does it mean that Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is the defaulter? Company is different. Company is different. Company is different. And also, bank cannot recover from Mr. Bachchan. That's different. He's not the defaulter. Company has committed default. That's different story. Okay, it's like this, there are many examples which you will be learning when you will be understanding the concept of separate legal entity, and also you will be understanding the concept of lifting of corporate veil, in which situation shareholders will be liable. That means court will direct that remove this veil and show me who are the people behind the company. That possibility is also there. But normally shareholder is not liable. But in exceptional situation, they may be liable. Is this concept clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So your
Yes,
question is addressed. So you are saying that whether shareholders are liable for the company's default. My answer is normally no, shareholders are not liable. Second question is that then how money will be recovered? Money will be recovered by the banker by following its own procedures, right? They may apply for, let us say, declaring the company as insolvent. So there are insolvency procedures are there. They can file it. The company's assets will be sold. Company will be owned off, and money can be recovered.
Got it, sir.
Okay, but for that thing, shareholders are not responsible. Unless some exceptional situation, which you'll be learning, when you'll be learning the concept of lifting of corporate veil. At that time, corporate veil, that is veil of the company, will be removed. And we'll see who are the people behind that veil. Okay? Is whether these concepts are clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are learning concept at this conceptual level. Make or keep it in your mind that company is different, shareholders are different. That's why in the previous classes when we are learning that company will last for perpetuity. That means even if all shareholders will die, company will not die. Company is still alive. Okay, law has formed company. Law can only kill it. Law can only close it. Shareholders are different. Companies is different. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Now, unlimited company concept you have understood. Okay. Now your question is how the company will be formed. The company will be formed as per the procedure which is prescribed with the Companies Act, which will be learning subsequently. But you see, Section 2, Clause 92 clearly defines what is unlimited company. Okay, it is not that something which is not be defined. Certain types of companies you already know, which is not there in the Act, but this is a type of company which is defined in the Companies Act. What is limited company? What is limited company? It has not been defined. Okay, a company where the liability of the members are limited. Here we are talking about the members' liability is limited. Limited by what? Either by the amount guaranteed by them. That means they have given guarantee that in case of winding off, I will be contributing this much. So the liability is limited by the amount guaranteed by them or by the unpaid value of shares, if any. If there are some share value which is unpaid, let us say 10 rupees share, and you have paid 8 rupees. That means 2 rupees is unpaid. So you are liable to pay that 2 rupees. Your liability is limited to that 2 rupees. Beyond that, company cannot ask. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
This is called limited liability concept. Then, company limited by guarantee. This type of companies are defined under Section 2, Clause 21. Means a company having a liability of its members limited by memorandum. That means the memorandum of association of the company says that the liability of the companies are limited. Okay, so the liability of its members are limited by its memorandum to such amount as the members may respectively undertake to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of its being owned off. That means in the event of company being owned off, that means when you are winding up the company, in that event only. In that event, if members are given some undertaking, some guarantee that they will be contributing this much, their liability is limited to that much. Suppose one member has given a guarantee that in case of winding up a company, I am giving guarantee that I will contribute 1 lakh rupees. So his liability is limited to 1 lakh rupees. Company cannot ask beyond that. Company cannot ask more than that. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
I repeat, means a company having the liability of its members limited by memorandum to which to such amount as the members may respectively undertake to contribute. That means members have undertaken to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of its wound off. When the company is winding up, the members will contribute this thing towards assets of the company. That means that will become company's asset, and out of that, company will get its obligation. Yes, please.
Sir, is members or the shareholders are different or same?
More or less, they are same. Okay, shareholders whose names are entered into register of members, they have become members. Okay, there is a possibility that you have purchased shares just now, but your name is not entered into register of members. Then you are not a member, but you are a shareholder. Okay, but if your name is entered in the register of members, then you are a member. Otherwise, you are a shareholder. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, next type of company is company limited by shares. Limited by guarantee of understood. Now, this is a company which is limited by shares, and it is defined in section 2, clause 22. It means a company having the liability of its members limited. And how it is limited? Limited by memorandum. That means the memorandum of association of the company says that the liability of members are limited. Okay. Maybe in next class I will be showing you some companies memorandum of association. You can see there will be a clause here. It says that liability of the members are limited. So because of that memorandum, because of that point which is mentioned in the memorandum, the liability of the members are limited to the amount, if any, unpaid on the shares respectively held by them. So you have to see how much shares are held by them. If with respect to those shares, if some amount is unpaid, then that is their liability. And the liability of these members are limited to that extent only. That is called as the company is limited by shares. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand up to this?
Yes, sir.
Company limited by shares. Any query you are having up to this, whatever you have learned, these 13 types of company we have covered. Private company, public company. I'm keeping it for our next session. But up to this, do you have any query? Feel free to ask. So 13 types of companies you have covered.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, is the memorandum word broadly explains is a type of legal document?
It's a type of
Agreed.
legal document. Today,
Agreed.
time is not permitting. Otherwise, I should have shown you a memorandum. Next class, I will be showing you the memorandum. It's a legal document.
Right, sir. Right.
It's a legal document. Okay.
Another doubt, sir.
Yes.
Normally, by this time, I was knowing, maybe my knowledge limited. Once limited is put on a company, end of the company's name, it indicates government company.
No,
So
not
you
necessary.
too,
No.
not necessary.
Government
Okay,
company meaning is different. Government company means a company which is controlled by government. We'll be understanding that definition is there. We'll be seeing. That means government holds majority of shareholders, majority of shares. Okay.
So all the public sector companies are government companies.
Yeah, maybe public sector company you have heard it. That's a different thing. What is public sector? That is also not defined in Companies Act. But more or less, you are right. Let us say you take an example of National Aluminium Company Limited. So that is Central PSU. That is a government company because central government holds most of its shares. Okay. So let us say some other companies, for example, Steel Authority of India Limited, Sanalco, SAIL, these are the examples of government companies. But not necessarily all public sector companies are government companies. For example, you see, you have had a company, OPGC, Odisha Power Generation Corporation Limited. That's not a public sector company, but that's a government company. That's not a PSU, that's a government company. Okay, so PSU concept is different and government companies are different. So most cases you find government companies, PSUs are government companies. Yeah, yes, friends. Yeah, tell me. Tell me, any other query?
Sir, NGO are a company, non-profit.
No. What is company? From the very
Sir,
beginning, I had explained
NGO
you the from the very beginning, friends, I explained you what is the meaning of company, which is formed and registered under Companies Act 2013 or earlier law. We are talking about the NGO. If it is registered under Companies Act, then it's a company, otherwise not. Most of the NGOs we are talking about, they are either registered as trust or society. There are some NGOs which are registered as a Section 8 company, which I showed you today. One example is the Swavalambi Foundation. So that's a company, but that doesn't mean that all NGOs are.
So which NGOs are registered on the Companies Act? May that be a non-profit company?
Yeah, if they're registered under the provisions of Section 8 of the Companies Act, then you can call them an NGO. They are non-profit making companies.
Okay, okay.
Are not, I will not say non-profit making companies, but they can earn profit, but they're not going to distribute that profit.
Yes, sir.
Profit distribution is not possible. Any other query you have? Anyone having any
No,
other query?
no.
Okay, friends, thank you very much. We'll catch up in our next class. We'll be learning few more types of companies. Then after that, we'll be moving to the next important concept which you raised today. That is the concept of separate legal entity, how companies different from shareholders, and the concept of lifting of corporate veil, in which situation this separate legal entity concept will be ignored and the corporate veil will be lifted, and the people who are behind the company, they will be held responsible. We'll be learning that in our subsequent classes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.